Hi students, good afternoon one and all. My name is Akshay Kadolkar. So this lecture for BCA second sem, and I hope all of you safe in your home, as well as all of you following the rules and regulations of government for COVID pandemic. So it's must to follow the rules and regulations of the government for safety of COVID. Okay, so actually for you, I'm dealing for one subject, which is the numerical and statistical method. This one of the subject is there for the second sem BCA. So for that purpose I deal you. So this is, and the subject code for this subject is BCA DSC 2.5. So this is the subject code for this subject, numerical and statistical method. So we will see this numerical and statistical method. Actually for this subject two lecturer arranged. So for the numerical purpose one, as well as for the statistical purpose one lecturer. Okay, so for the numerical purpose, already it's might be started for the numerical, whatever the chapter is related this numerical. So already it's started right now. Okay, as now from this session we will start the statistical part, which is there in this subject. Okay, so now see in the next slide, this is the syllabus for this numerical and the statistical method. There are 5 chapters are there. The first one is about unit number 1, floating point representation. Unit number 2, numerical solution of non-linear equation. Unit number 3, solution of system of simultaneous linear equations. And unit number 4, statistical investigation and data representation. Unit number 5, measures of central tendency and measures of dispersion. Okay, so in this numerical and the statistical method, in this subject, these 5 units are theirs. So out of these 5 units, about 3 units, what the unit number 1, unit number 2, unit number 3, it will cover by one lecturer, and you know that which is the lecturer, the Punam Buffet madam. So she will cover this all these 3 units. Okay, and might be she started the first unit. Okay, and whatever the remainder 2 chapters which is related to the statistical. Okay, so the above 3 chapters are related to the numerical, and the below whatever these 2 chapter is remain, unit number 4th, which is the statistical investigation and the data representation, as well as unit number 5th, which is the measures of central tendency and the measures of dispersions. This unit will cover by me. Okay, so now we will see what's the syllabus is there in these 2 units. Okay, now so directly we will see the unit number 4th, which is the statistical investigation and the data representation. So now see this unit number 4th, statistical investigation and the data representations. Okay, so statistical investigation, so it means whatever the data is there, whatever the statistical data is there, with the help of the statistical tools and techniques we can investigate. Okay, we can investigate the data, and the data representations, whatever the data is there, so we can represent that in front of the users. Okay, users of the statistical data. Okay, by the way of the charts, by the way of the diagrams, how we can represent the data, we will see all these things we will see. So first of all, you should know what doing by stat. Okay, so all these things we will cover in the next lectures. On this session only we will see the syllabus, but just see the what in by statistics. Statistic means what? It is the collection or the presentation analysis and interpretation of numerical data. Okay, so whatever the quantitative data is there, whatever the numerical data is there, okay, so whatever the numerical data, so this numerical data, it's a collection, it will cover in the statistics as well as that representation, as well as the presentation, as well as the analysis and interpretation is nothing but what the statistics. Okay, statistics means what? The analysis, collection, interpretation as well as the presentation of the numerical data is nothing but what the statistics. Okay, so in this chapter these are the contents are there, and we will see which are those contents we want to see. So first one is what's origin and development. So we will see origin and development, it means what? Statistic when it's came into existence. Okay, so for use purpose, as well as we will see the definition also, we will see the importance and scope of business statistics, how its importance, how its uses, what's the scopes, what is the scope is there for this business statistics. And in this modern world, no, so statistics is very useful, it's a needed. Okay, as well as the meaning and definition of data. You know the data, we will see the meaning of data or the definition of the data. Data means is nothing but the information. Okay, information, without information we cannot use the statistical tools and the techniques. Okay, so data is must important. Okay, so data means what's the information only. Okay, next, methods of data collection. So there are two types of methods are there, or you can say there are two sources of data collection. The first one is a primary data, and second one is a secondary data. These are the two methods are there. Again, it's a primary data into divide so many types are there, by the way of the survey, by the way of the interview, by the way of the statement method, by the way of polls, as well as the focus group, etc, etc. There are n numbers are there of the methods for this primary data, or the source primary source of the data. And second one is about the secondary data. It means what? We can collect the data from the financial reports, sales reports, by the mission vision statement. Okay, by the way of the internet. Okay, so these are the secondary sources of the data, or the secondary methods of the data. Okay, so these are the two types of the methods, which is the primary method and the secondary methods of data collection. Next, types of data proportions. There are so many types are there of the data proportions, which is that quantity data methods, quality data proportions. Okay, continuous data proportions, descriptive data proportions, numerical data proportions, ratio proportions, interval proportions, ordinary proportions, or the nominal proportions. Like this, there are so many types of data proportions are this. We will see next one by one. That is next, ratio and the rates. Okay, ratio and the rates. You know what in by ratio? Ratio means what? It's showing the relationship between the two numbers. Okay, ratio means what? The showing the relationship between the two numbers is nothing but the ratios. Next, we will see the meaning and building, cleaning and administrating database in spaces. Okay, spaces is one of the software is there, and which is useful for research purpose, it is useful for the scientific purpose. Okay, so spaces, it is the long form of the spaces is what? Statistical packages for the social science. Okay, it is the statistical packages for the social science. Okay, we will see next, significance of diagrams and the graphs. Okay, how its importance of the diagrams and the graphs. Its diagram and the graphs are very useful, as well as importance for showing the represents the data for the users. Okay, we can show the our information or for the understanding purpose. Okay, by the way of the diagrams. Next, types of diagrams, one dimensional or bar diagram. Okay, so there are two types of the diagrams are there, one dimensional and the two dimensional. Okay, and the one dimensional is also called as the bar diagram. Okay, and the one dimensional diagram means what? It is the one diagram measurement. Okay, one dimensional measurement, and it includes the line diagram, simple bar diagram, multiple diagram, subdivided by diagram, percentage diagram, okay, etc. These are the numbers of the one dimensional diagram. Next, two dimensional diagram, it's also called as the area diagrams. Okay, so next, pictograms and cartograms, graphs of frequency distributions. Okay, so all these things we will see in this chapter. Next is what's the histograms, frequency polygon, frequency curve. Okay, gives of cumulative frequency curve. These are the what's the these are the things are come under this what's the first chapter, which is the statistical investigation, the data representations. Okay, all these things we will cover in this chapter. Okay, next, see the unit number 5th, which is the measures of central tendency and measures of dispersion. Okay, so measure is central tendency means what? It is one of the it means what's the it is a single value. What? It is a single value which is used to represents all the series. Okay, it represents the all the series is nothing but the central tendency. Okay, so now in this chapter we will see what we have to cover. Definition of averages. Okay, so averages is nothing but the central tendency. Okay, just try to understand the average tendency. Central tendency means what's only the average, and the average means what's it is an the average of single value which is used to represents all the values in the series is nothing but what's the central tendency or the average. Okay, so we have to see the objectives of averages. Objectives, like it is to determine one single value. Okay, as well as it is facilitates to comparison at a particular point of time. Okay, so like this, so many objectives are there, so we will see that in the next class. Next, requisites of ideal averages. Okay, so types of averages, there are so many types of there for the averages. So which are those types? So this it is below is there, which is the mean, median, mode. Okay, so you know that what in by mean. Okay, so mean means what? It's measures of the central tendency only, and it means it's dividing the sum of the values of all items. Okay, it is nothing but the mean, and its formula for this mean is what's the x bar is equal to summation x divided by capital letter N is nothing but this is the formula of the mean. Okay, so it can average, we can find out the average, or we can find out the measures of central tendency. You can measure the central tendency. Okay, so next, median. Median means what? It is the divide the series into two equal parts is nothing but what's the median. Okay, so that whatever the series is there, so this series is divided into two equal parts is nothing but the median. Okay, and so it's indicates in the formula, which is that it's indicated in the formula by the way of the md is equal to n plus 1 divided by 2 is this is the formula for this median. Okay, so this is about the median. And the mode means what's in a series which occurs most percentage. Okay, most frequency, what most occurs most frequency, or which is has the greatest frequency is nothing but what's the mode. Okay, so this is about the types of averages, which is the mean, median, mode, as well as the harmonic mean. So the harmonic means what? It is the various items of a series, it is the reciprocal of the arithmetic of their reciprocal is nothing but the harmonic mean, as well as the geometric mean. Geometric means what? It is the n items is the nth root of their product is nothing but the geometric mean. Okay, so as well as we have to see the definition and properties of ideal measures of dispersion, absolute and relative measure of dispersion, range and coefficient of range. Okay, so the range means what's the difference between the largest value largest item and the lowest or the smallest item is nothing but the range. Okay, so the range means what's the difference between the smallest value and the lowest value, it's nothing but the range. Okay, so next one is what's the quartile and coefficient of QD. Okay, so this is the quartile. You know the word quartile means what's when the series is divided into four equal parts. Okay, whatever the data is there of the series, so this series is divided into four equal parts is nothing but the quartile. As well as in this, like this, percentile is there, octile is there, decile is there. Okay, so we will see in the next class. As well as the average deviation is there, coefficient of average deviation. Okay, so next standard deviation is there, coefficient and standard deviation and coefficient of variation. All these things we have to cover under this measure of center tendency and the measures of dispersion. Okay, so these two units is related to the statistical, and this statistical part will cover by me only. Okay, and I will try my best to teach you in a simple way. Okay, as well as in a simple language for the understanding purpose. And the first chapter is related to little bit, it's related to the theory, but this second chapter is related to whole the practical. In this chapter all the problems we have to solve. Okay, so I hope all you will be the understand. Okay, just try to understand this syllabus also. And those who came from the commerce stream, they might be have did this subject which is the statistical. Okay, they learn this subject, this statistical. Okay, might be they know everything related to this statistical. Okay, as well as the science students also, just I will try to teach you in a simple language. Okay, so these are the 5 units. Out of these 5 units, 3 units are related to the numerical, and last 2 units are related to the statistical. Okay, so I hope you will be the understand. Okay, so thank you.